Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and I am back with another Muggles Wizarding Adventures. Of course, I'm going to be using Echo Park's Witches and Wizards collection. I pulled out this sketch from Page Maps from April of 2014. I have used this sketch before and super excited to work it into this particular layout of the Hogwarts train. So on the left hand side of the layout, I have some kind of random photos that we took like as we were walking through the queue, and then on the right hand side are more prominent photos in the full 4x6 photos. I decided to pull out this red paper that has like what I consider like wallpaper, because I feel like the wallpaper would look like that on the train. That's why I used it. I also pulled out the pattern paper that has all of the suitcases on it because of course we're getting on the train, so we have to use our suitcase paper for that. Then I also pulled out the striped paper that has all of the colors in it. As I'm getting the paper down, I struggled a lot with this because I was trying to figure out how to actually put down this paper and line it up. I don't feel like I struggled as much with the other layouts. I actually ended up moving out the paper with all of the luggage on it. It calls for a piece in the center, but it just wasn't looking right and I couldn't get it placed right, so I just went ahead and decided not to use it at all. I wanted to make sure that I lined up the paper, so I struggled for quite a few minutes trying to figure out where the paper lined up, because I knew that I wanted to make sure it lined up in the center. Even though it's not going to be exactly close to each other in the 3-ring binder, I still needed to have them line up as if they were sitting right next to each other. And then I do end up cutting down the suitcase paper a little bit because I knew that it was going to be covered up behind that red paper. I do ink all of my edges in black soot, and then I will adhere all of my photos and paper down. So as I'm doing that, I just want to talk a little bit about these particular photos. Like I said, on the left-hand side, there are the photos from the queue. So we took pictures of the 9 3/4 sign, the departure sign, as well as some of the luggage pieces. And then it'll be hard to see, but there's a photo of the wall between stations 9 and 10, and you walk around that wall as if you are walking through it. So if you've seen the movie or read the books, you'll understand, like, you kind of walk through the platform between 9 and 10. And so the way that you get into the train is by walking around that wall. So there's a picture of that that's going to be on the left hand side as well. And then there's just this really cute photo of Eli kind of standing by one of the signs in the queue as well. And so all of those photos are on the left hand side. And then on the right hand side, I have a picture of Eli and I. It's a little selfie of us on the train. That's actually the only photo that I have of us on the train. And then above that is a photo of Hedwig and Harry Potter's luggage. You can see it very clearly that it has an HP on it for Harry Potter. And then right above that is a photo of Eli standing in front of the train. If you've never been to Universal, to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, this experience of riding the train, you do have to have a ticket to both Universal and Islands of Adventure. They were very clever about that. That is the only way that you can ride the train, is if you have a 2-park pass. And the train experience is different going to Hogsmeade as it is going back to Diagon Alley. So Diagon Alley is in Universal and Hogsmeade is in Islands of Adventure. So you have to ride the train both ways to experience both sets of train rides. When you get on the train, there are all kinds of really fun things that are going on. There's a simulated screen where you're actually like riding the train, and so it has all of the different passageway, as well as outside of the train compartment that you're sitting in, there are shadows of Harry and Hermione and Ron and frogs and Dementors, all kinds of fun experiences. So it's definitely something that if you are planning a trip to Universal, make sure you get the 2-park pass, because again, that's the only way that you can experience the train ride. On the left-hand side of the layout, I did decide to go ahead and mount all of those photos on white cardstock. I felt like they were getting lost, especially since the photos are really busy themselves, and then I also have that really busy background paper of the luggage. I wanted to make sure that they stood out. I did use my layering guides, and I found them on scrapbook.com. I have both sets, the larger ones and the smaller ones. And when I was looking, I just had the smaller ones and those have been discontinued. However, the larger ones are still available on scrapbook.com and I have linked them below. I love these tools. It's probably my favorite tool for making sure that the layers are absolutely straight and perfect around all four sides. There is a little learning curve to it. You do have to kind of run your finger around the photo. I don't know if it's like the particular type of photo that I'm using, but I've had that experience with both Walmart and Walgreens. Those are my two places that I usually print from. I just run my finger around the photo and that allows for it to catch on the layering guide. So once I get all of the photos backed on the white cardstock, I lay them out on the layout, trying to figure out the best order for them to go in. I do decide to add a few of the photos up on fun foam. Obviously the one of Eli, because he's just so super cute in that one, as well as the 9 3/4 platform sign. The photo that's right next to Eli is the photo that I was talking about where it's the wall between platforms 9 and 10. And there is a person in the photo and I actually end up covering that up with an embellishment. I tried to wait as long as possible to get the photo with like nobody in it, but then obviously there's people behind me, so I don't want to hold them up. I knew that if I just had one person in the photo, I would be able to cover that up with embellishments. I went through the embellishment pieces and found a couple pieces that I knew could work. I found this little yellow tag that says a little bit of magic can take you anywhere, which I felt was appropriate for the train ride. I also found a couple of other tag pieces, but I don't end up using those. I moved this pack your bag around, but I felt like it was so small. So at first I thought, well, maybe I'll just put it on some white cardstock and back it that way. And I even added the border a little bit larger than what I would normally add. I also decided to round the corners, but in the end, I felt like it was just too small. I started looking through the 6x6 paper, seeing if I can pull out something from there. And I found a card on the 6x6 paper and I was like, maybe I have that card in the 12x12. And I didn't have the exact card. I did have a 4x4 cut apart that says pack your bags for magic, and it has a little suitcase as well as a scarf on it. And I thought that that would be big enough for the titles. I do cut it down a little bit because I thought the 4x4 was too big and I didn't really want it in a square size. I wanted it more in a rectangle. So I just cut off as much as I can on either side of the saying to make it more of a rectangle. And I do go ahead and put that up on fun foam and add it to the right hand side of the layout. I do have these two tags and I try to make one of them work. I do add one of them down, but it actually comes up later because I find the Hogwarts train. I have a bunch of the stars left over from my night bus layout, and a funny story on that. I have always thought that the night bus was spelled like the nighttime, like N-I-G-H-T. And I did that layout, completed it, posted it. It's been posted for quite a while. It actually got posted before March Madness, so it's been up on YouTube for quite a while, being scheduled. Somebody else posted a night bus layout and I went to correct them saying that they had spelled night bus wrong. And I was like, let me verify this before, you know, like I make a fool out of myself by saying that night is spelled wrong. And I had been spelling it wrong. I had to go back to my layout and change the spelling of the word night to K-N-I-G-H-T. So let me know in the comments below, did you think that the word was spelled night like the night sky, or like knight as in like knight in shining armor? Because I was totally wrong on it, and I've read those books probably 5 or 6 years ago and I can't believe that I didn't realize that. Now granted, I am an audiobook listener, so I listened to all the books. I didn't actually physically read them, so if I had read the books, maybe I would have known that it was spelled incorrectly or it was spelled that way. Isn't it funny how we sometimes come up with things and we're so sure of things, but it actually doesn't work out that way. I found the sticker of the Hogwarts Express and was super excited to use that. I tried to put it up there where the title was. I didn't like that. It was because it was sticking up and the title was on fun foam and the sticker wasn't. So I took the fun foam off and I didn't like the way that worked. So I ended up moving the tag over on the far left hand side, and that tag was there to cover up that person that I was telling you about. I decided to put the Hogwarts Express train overlapping that photo to cover up that person, and then adding that star as well. Back over where the title is, I added a white owl and I did have to put that up on fun foam. Because it was sitting right on top of where the title piece is, I went ahead and pulled up that piece to make sure that I had fun foam on all of the sections. And now I'm just looking through the embellishments, trying to figure out what other pieces I can add to the layout. I do find this banner that says magical, and I really like the way that that looks over there on the far left-hand side. And then since I had that banner, I was like, why don't I pull out another banner? There was a set of banners in one of the embellishment packs. I pulled out all 4 colors and inked them up with the black soot, and then overlapped all of them so that they look like they're one piece, and added them right below the star, kind of tucked in next to the train that's there. And then I added a little word phrase that says magical fun. Just looking through the pieces, trying to find different smaller embellishments. I have a suitcase over on the far right, so I did add a word phrase that says adventure there. And then I pulled out my wood veneer. I'm going to add some wood veneer in both of the clusters that I have created. Ended up adding a geotag with a heart cut out in the upper right hand corner, as well as just a small heart in the bottom left hand. And then I also added a small little frog that is jumping, because if you do ride the train, there are jumping frogs on it. Pulled out my color boxes in a black, gold, and silver. So I added some black hearts to both of the clusters, as well as some silver enamel dots, and then some gold hearts. And then that's going to complete this video. Here is my final layout, as well as some close-ups. Let me know in the comments below, are you guys enjoying these layouts? Did you have photos from the Hogwarts Express that you are going to document as well? I would love to hear all about your trip to Universal. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.